In this video, I'm going to explain to you the different poses which we do in the morning routine. It would be great if you, together with your child, practice this morning routine a few times a week, because it's a great way to improve concentration capabilities, boost stamina, improve core strength, which is particularly valuable because kids tend to be hypermobile because of the high amount of cartilage, and it would be great for you because we are getting less flexible with age. So then, unless you want to grow like this instead of like a George Clooney or a Tina Turner, you may want to consider practicing yoga. So let's start with the basics. Make sure you never hyperextend your knees. So make sure it's always slightly bent. Tailbone is tucked under, and even though you may not be able to see it right now, my abs are actually engaged right now. So engage your core, long spine, straight back. Pull your shoulders backwards. This may feel a bit odd because we tend to be a bit like this, but really pull it backwards. You can almost try to touch the different shoulder blades in the back. Important is to always have as much space between your ears and your shoulders. So a long neck as well, and lift the rest of your body. Just standing like this is already quite exhausting, to be honest, particularly when you're pregnant. When pregnant, you do stand slightly more apart, but if you want, you can also stand with your feet, the big toes touching each other, so that the second toe are parallel to each other. But I tend to stand like this at the moment. So you start with the rocket. We go up, breathe in, go up, keep your shoulders down, away from your ears, torso long, and your abs very much working hard. And then if you want, you rise up. In kids yoga, most poses are quite active, so you can do more like this, which helps them building strength, which they need with their hypermobility. Whereas in adult yoga, we tend to stand still so that you really work on your flexibility while still working on your muscle groups. So that is the rocket ship. Moon pose. Again, normally you keep your feet closed. I tend to do it slightly apart. Moon pose is coming from the rocket, so you put your heels down. It's a nice side stretch. Try to make your arms as long as possible. You feel it right here. Keep your belly tucked in, tailbone tucked under, so that you don't stand like this. Actually, it should be a straight line from the back. Then we dive down. For kids, because of their hypermobility, I actually encourage them to bend their knees. For adults, try and straighten your knees. Apparently, one of the ways to check if you're healthy is you should be able to touch the floor without bending your knees. Let your head hang. No tension here. Hang. Very good. When you give, straighten your back. Keep your abs engaged. Arms long. Away from your ears. And then we go down. Chair pose. Super difficult pose. At least that's what I find. You pretend to be sitting on a chair, or as most women know, you try to pee in a public place and you don't want to touch the dirty toilet bowl. So you go down, but then keep everything in a long line. That means tuck your tailbone under, straight back, shoulders away from your ears, straight arms up. Oh, I find this pose so difficult. There you go. I prefer to slightly look down so that your neck is in one line with the rest of your tailbone to fingertip line. Then we go to the smile. From the facial expression hypothesis, it's good to smile. Kids tend to laugh a lot, but we adults, we don't smile enough. So smile when you're feeling sad, and then at one point you actually do start to feel better. From the smile pose we go to the pose called Warrior 2, which, as the name suggests, is really good for building fierce stamina and strength. So if you want, you can widen your feet a bit further, you don't have to. And you turn one foot out, keep the feet same line with the heels in the same line. And then the other foot goes to either an 8 o'clock or 4 o'clock position, depending on which side you do. You keep your tailbone tucked under, abs engaged, long neck, long back and neck, shoulders down, away from the ears, arms wide. And we look to the side while bringing our weight to the front leg, or the front leg, yeah. You try to go as deep as you can, at least for adults. In kids I make it an active pose. But for adults, try to make your front thigh parallel to the floor, like this. But it takes a bit of practice. And when you find things difficult, again, smile. You actually get the feeling of two different people pulling on each hand in opposite direction. So now I'm standing in a 4 o'clock position with my feet. Bring the weight to the front. Keep the abs engaged. Tailbone tucked under. Whew. Feeling like a hero. There are 3 different variations of the tree pose. Stand straight, of course, tailbone tucked under, abs tight, shoulders to the back, long neck, shoulders away from ears. Then the most easy one, which I do in a class, is put one foot on top of the other. This is good for balance, concentration, and feeling grounded, at least when you're on the ground. Slightly more difficult when the child or you has mastered maintaining balance on one foot. You can put one foot against the other calf. And then again, if you want, you can make different variations with your arms. The most difficult pose or variation is to put your feet above the knee. You never place it against the knee because that is the weakest point of the leg. So, like this. The trick is to really engage your core. And then this is my favorite hand position, because again, you're working on your shoulders. Thank you for listening. Namaste.